All right, all right. How you doing, guys? Carmen Dinesco here. We are on Shark Tank Effect. We got some great stuff coming on. We got the people, the stories, the products. We got the fun and the drama that you hear about. Let me bring on the host with the most, the man with the plan, the king of manufacturing, Mr. Christopher. I was going to say Gorilla, but Mr. Guerrera. What's happening?
Hey, Carmine, we need to start recording these pre-shows.
I know.
It's like a comedy hour.
I thought about that.
Doing good. We got a great guest on today. I'll tell you, we got somebody who's I want to consider Dara a heavy hitter, like a heavyweight. She's like big time, right? We don't mess around with our guests. We bring in the real stuff. We call it Shark Tank Effect, but Dara's done so much stuff that it's not doing it any justice just to say Shark Tank, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about the show we just came off of. We just came off of back shows, and Dara was on our panels, and she's so gracious to give her time to the Inventor Community. We thought it'd be great to have her on now to talk about some of the things she does. And so with that, let's introduce her. Hello, Dara.
Hello. Okay, so my only big question is, I thought I was promised a private jet going over and coming back. I don't know about y'all, but I flew commercial.
Yeah. You were
I don't know.
You were late.
We're still working on that.
You were late. We sent it.
Yeah, let me know how it does. Yeah.
They kept going though.
I was like crammed in between two people, and I wasn't even sure that they were on the right flight. Like, when they're like,
you know what happened to me? I get spoiled. I worked for BMW for a while, so they would put me on their corporate jet and fly me to Paris or fly me to Munich for meetings for 2 hours and fly me back. So then I start flying commercial again. I'm like, well, I'm going to fly first class. They're like, no, you're going in the back. I said, no, do you know who I am? I'm flying private jets.
Look, I was so far in the back, I started offering people drinks and snacks. I'm just saying.
That's what I always tell these guys. It's a running joke. When someone asks us something, I go, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, no.
So with that, who is Dara? Tell us about yourself.
So first of all, thank you guys so much for asking me to come out to the show. I had an amazing time. First show that I had been to since pre-pandemic. So I was so excited to be out. I was so excited to be in the industry. I was so excited to see people who are hungry for feedback, hungry to show you what they've been working on. Many of them who had come to life and fruition during the pandemic. So thank you guys for asking me out.
You are amazing. You are absolutely amazing.
And you guys know, whatever you guys need, I'm there.
Yeah, you give great feedback, and I'm telling you, everyone just absolutely loves you, Dara. I mean that sincerely. You're just a sweet person, and to give back to what you do, we all appreciate you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. So just a little bit about myself. I'll give you a little bit of my career history. So worked for the Walt Disney Company. Yes, the mouse himself. He did sign my paychecks.
Awesome.
Worked for him for 15 years. And while I was at the Mouse House, I had so many different opportunities. So there's two that really relate and resonate quite a bit with inventors. So the first being Shark Tank. Everybody knows about Shark Tank, whether they know or know not that Disney kind of was behind it and it was on ABC. But in the early years when it first started, they were nearly 5 nobodies that were up on stage. And the problem, it was a fantastic concept. They had really great people, but they didn't have great experience in kind of helping entrepreneurs what happens after the show is over, right? So we've invested in you, but now what's going to happen? Well, they didn't quite realize it at first, but they thought it was me. Very simple. Hey, I was on the show and I need you to open up this retail door for me. You're talking more than 15 years ago when people only wanted to talk about big brands. The company was a little trepidatious because of the 2006 and 2007 and 8. So nobody wanted to bring on anything new. Nobody wanted to do anything that they didn't already know about. So the doors were closed. So I got the wonderful phone call, go sit off set. You're going to meet all these people. I had lunch with them all the very first time. They were all fascinated with me. I'm like, who are y'all? Like, tell me who you guys are. Tell me what you do in your daytime job. And because of that first initial lunch meeting that I had with them, I remain friends with many of them who will to this day call me. Barbara called me and asked me, how's the market in Kissimmee? Because my mother-in-law is going to sell her house and I want to know if this is a good time to sell. And I'm like, you're in real estate, but I'll let you know. It was just like this surreal kind of moment, right? So, but remain friends. And I sat on the outside so that I could look at products and go, that's a good one. Let's invest in that one. And then I got voluntold to take the products and put them within the Walt Disney Company. So you're probably like, what? Everything has a mouse on it? No, we had retail destinations, we had cruise ships, we had recreation, we had water parks. So it was just find the best fit for that product and help bring it to life so that we can do a follow-up video and show people how successful products are. So I am still to this day on several follow-up videos.
Wow.
And I'm like, how long did I sign my life away for? I'm pretty sure like I was 20. It's like, it's
Well,
crazy.
it was pretty funny, even like on this, on our pitch panels in the Inventor Corner, like I was sending pictures of us and Dara was sending them off to Damon, right? Who I partner with. And then Mindy shows up and I'm saying, Dara, do you know Mindy from casting? She said, well, I do know who she is. We never met. I'm like, oh my God. So then I introduced them. How great was that?
That was, I mean, so surreal. 15 years of working with her and had never met face to face. Like, just crazy, absolutely crazy. And she's like, wait a minute, you're the one on the side. I used to have this like really bad fold-up chair that I would sit in on the side and watch it. Like, just crazy. But fast forward 15 years later and retailers are calling them, hey, I saw that product, that's really good, please give it to me exclusively. Like, really, really good. So that's one thing. But then the second thing that Disney really gave me the opportunity to do, which is where I relate so much to entrepreneurs, is even though I work for the Walt Disney Company and I signed my life away that every idea I had was theirs, which is not what our entrepreneurs have to do nor should do. But what was great about it is that I got to have the experience of coming up with ideas, coming up with concepts for the Walt Disney Company, going in and pitching them to our board of directors, the president of Walt Disney Company, the CFO, like literally. I mean, Bob is like, if she comes in one more time, president of Walt Disney World, Al Weiss at the time was like, seriously, she's got way too many ideas, but that's what you have to do. And one of my big things that I kind of coined back then, and I've used it forever, is know the no. So KNOW, know the no. So when I would go in and, I would present and, hey, here's a new concept I've come up with. Here's a new product item. Here's a new whatever. And they would look at me and literally at the end of a meeting, it'd be like, anybody? Okay. Yeah, no, thank you. Appreciate it. Great. Almost like next. I would go, can you tell me why? And I would like stun the room. Like, why is she asking a question? We just told her no, right? But every single time I asked, I'd get an answer. And those answers helped me go on and create some amazing concepts. Disney pin trading, Duffy the Disney Bear, the Perfectly Princess Tea Party, Bippity Boppity Boutique, Goofy's Candy Company. I have about 7 more, but allowed me to help make those concepts. And so now I tell everybody, every entrepreneur I come in contact with, when you get a no, know the no. And you need to know it, because it literally could be something as simple as, well, it's sort of out on the marketplace. It exists. You need to hear that. Or it could be no, because your pricing is wrong. Your packaging is wrong. Your color is wrong. The branding is wrong. It could be such a simple fix. And if you got a no and you turned around and you walked away, but then you had an opportunity to go into another retailer with the same product, you're going to get a no again. Because the one thing that you got to know above all the retailers, we all think alike. And if it's not going to work for one, it really isn't going to work for another one. So you got to know it so you can change it. So that's, I'll stop chatting before
No,
I go on to the
this
next
is like
part of my
invaluable
career.
information. I want to talk a little bit about like the doors that opened up for you. But before we go there,
Yeah.
you talk about pitches, right? I heard you say some really important information. I talked to a lot of inventors and they want to tell me the whole life story of how they came up with the product. It's great. That's great. That's for a side conversation. But when you're doing a pitch, like nobody wants to hear that. Like it's got to be quick, precise, in front of a buyer. So talk about that a little bit, because that information you gave on the stage was invaluable.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you, the amount of people who have stood in front of me and told me, like, when I was in the womb, like that's how they started. And I'm like, how old are you? Like, how long do we have to go? I mean, seriously, let me tell you, we love entrepreneurs. We might love the fact that we're both from the South, or we might love the fact that we both like to eat like vanilla ice cream, but you do not need to bring any of that into your pitch conversation. You got to get up there, and in most situations, and I'm just telling you this, and people won't believe me until they've gone through it, but in most situations, before you've even opened your mouth, a good buyer has already like given the product a once over. They've already kind of looked at it, especially if you put it in their hands, and now that they've got it in front of them, they're already analyzing it. They're going through, does this fit in my world? What would I be used to paying for it? Do I have anything that is competitive to it? So we don't need to hear you saying all of this other stuff. We need you to cut to the chase. You need to tell us what the product is, how you came up with it, or why you came up with it. The why sometimes is just as important as the product itself. You've got to be able to tell us what the cost of goods are, or what you're wholesaling it for, and where you see the retail price being, and who's your demographic. Like, that's it. Like, you do not have to talk to us about visiting the factory 7 times and meeting meeting the head of the factory's family and going to dinner with them. You don't need to say any of that. You just need to say, I have this incredible product. Here's the name. This is why I came up with it. This is how much I believe people are willing to pay for it. My margin is at about a 50 point, so we can do the math in our head. Mm-hmm. And I feel like my demographic is really here. The one big question, though, that you are going to get asked, so please know it in your back pocket, is who's your competitor? You're going to get asked.
Don't you love when you hear I don't have a competitor? Don't you love that?
Oh my gosh.
We don't have any competitors.
There's 2 things that entrepreneurs say that I'm going to tell you to take it out of your vernacular, your vocabulary. 1, I don't have a competitor. And number 2, you've never seen anything like this before. Yeah. Take them out.
Yeah.
Don't start with it. Don't end with it. Don't try to shove it in there. Don't give them a piece of paper that says it. Don't. Because especially in today's day and age, we've seen it all, or we've seen something like it. So what you do by saying you've never seen anything like this before, what you don't realize is it's a little bit of an insult to a buyer who has already processed that product item and is already thinking, what does it look like that's on my shelf? Or what does it look like that I've seen in the marketplace? Let the buyer say to you, I don't think I've seen anything like this. Is there any competitors that are out there? Like, let the buyer say that. Please don't tell me you've never seen anything like it. Just a real quick short story. I literally was on a Zoom call. I had probably 150 people. I wanted to do 100, but I agreed to do 150 only because I agreed to give feedback to everybody. And after 100, it's really hard to give quick feedback. So on this call, I literally sat there and said, hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm looking for, whatever. And each person had 60 seconds. So I was listening for a while to go on, just their product is next. And this one person spent their 60 seconds telling me, you've never seen anything like it in the United States. You've never seen anything like it in a retailer. You've never seen anything like it if you go overseas. So while they were using their 60 seconds to tell me I've never seen it, I went to Amazon and I pulled up 3 products that were identical. Waited for them to finish. And I said, I just have one question. Have you ever heard of these 3 products? Boop, boop, boop. And their answer was, no. Are they anything like mine? I said, they're exactly yours. Okay, next. Like, so don't do that, because with today's technology, we'll want to try to prove you wrong, not in a mean way, but just kind of to say, oh, we want you to be buttoned up when you come in, and that's not buttoned up.
Dude, I can speak for like being in front of a buyer at Walmart, for example. You get 30 minutes. You want to show as much product as possible. The first
You got 30?
Well, I'm saying I got 30 minutes.
I mean, like, no.
Right. The first 5 minutes is pleasantries, right? How you doing? Where you're from? Blah. And then you're into the products. I can recall giving them a package. It was a Tidy Hook product that's fit in the car. And I can see him looking at it, exactly what you said, looking at it. And I'm explaining to him what it is. And he's looking at it. He said, I don't know. Then I'm really selling it and explaining how it goes. It's a new compartment. And he says, I love it. We don't have anything like it, but your packaging needs some work. I didn't get that when I first picked it up. Instant feedback, like instant from a buyer. He said, we want somebody to see it, come over to it, pick it up and go, I made changes, 2 weeks, gave it to him, loved it, put it in the store. Instant, like exactly what you just said was an experience that I had early on, and let the buyer tell me, right? Yes. He looked at it, he's experienced, they want you to make money, they want to make money, and gave me instant feedback that I immediately went back, fixed it, had a nice big picture of what it did, no, like more graphics, less text, and he loved it.
Yeah. So funny. I was on a couple of different pitch panels, but I gave a little bit of that feedback, right? Like, don't tell me I've never seen it before. So after it was over, I got done and I walked down, and after I kind of moved through the people that were like all there, I made my way around to the different booths. I found 2 products, well, a couple more, but I found 2 products that I literally had never seen before. I had never seen before. Both of them, when I walked up to their booth, both of them go, hey, I'm so glad you stopped by. You probably have seen something similar. Would love to hear your feedback. But we don't think there's anything like it in the marketplace. I went, they listened.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that to me was the best, because I got to tell them, never seen anything like your product. And as a result, here's my card and we're going to work together. Like,
yeah, see?
like that, just like that.
And this is what we want, right? We want experts like you to give that feedback, and then really like work with people. Like we've had Trish do some deals. We got Home Depot buyers at the hardware show, like instant on the spot. They look at a product and they get a good pitch, and it's an instant, like you just said, instant connection, which
instant connection.
I love. So this will be, to me, the meat of our podcast today, having really entrepreneurs and inventors understand how important that is. But how about you, Dara? This opened up another whole door for you, right? Shark Tank. So I see you on HSN. I'm working with them on America's Big Deal. It might be all behind the scenes, but you're the brains of the operation. We know that. So how did that help? How did that Shark Tank Disney, how did that launch you into the next level?
I mean, just crazy. So working with Disney for 15 years, I got a call from the Home Shopping Network. They sought me out. I'd love to think it was my, where are they now video that did it from Shark Tank when I was 20, but not so much. And I got a call from HSN, and they're like, we want you to do for Disney do for us what you did for Disney, which is creating new initiatives, creating new shows. So when I went to HSN, I thought, okay, I will be very honest, I was not an HSN shopper, which I think they loved, because I got to come in like, let me tell you what my perspective is, right? On not only the company, but the brands and some opportunities that are here. So as soon as I got in, I recognized, HSN was built on an entrepreneurial spirit. That's how it started, by hawking and selling some really bad avocado green can openers. So, and then some bad herringbone gold necklaces. Like I'm like, that was so like in the 80s. But so what I loved about it though, is is the fact that it started by people selling other people's things. And so I went, we've got to get back to that. You know, we've turned into a big brand company. You know, you got Dyson, and you got Keurig, and you got, you know, you got Levi's, and you got all of these other brands. But I'm like, there are people that are out there that have still invented really great products. We just need to find them. So that led to American Dreams with a little bit of that Shark Tank behind it, which I then went around all to many different cities across the country, would let everybody know I was coming in town. I would work with my local SCORE chapter to host me, basically, so that I could have a place to sit. And I would say, just show up and show me products. And I quickly had to put some format to that, because it got a little unruly after a while. But I'm like, look, let me sit here and find products. And my goal was, look, if I find your product and I really like you, you're going to go on air. I might not like you the way that you are, but I'll help you get there. And just exactly what you just said, Chris, which is when you had that conversation with Walmart. The one thing I love to do is I love to give feedback. I will give honest to goodness feedback. It might not feel good. I'll try to deliver it the best way that I possibly can. But the worst thing an entrepreneur can do is not take advantage of the fact that I've had 30 years in this business of looking at products, selling products, promoting products, making people millionaires. I mean, 30 years of this, and have someone look at me and say, thank you, I appreciate the feedback, but I really think it's good. I will go, no problem, right? Absolutely no problem. I'll walk away and I'll think, shame on you, but that's okay. But people who love to take feedback, I love to give you critique then. And sometimes there's none. So one of the women I went to, she was like, please critique my packaging. I sat there for like what seemed like 20 minutes, although it was only like 3. And I'm like, I can't say a single thing about your packaging. Was amazing. Like, just not, you don't get that all the time, right. But anyway, so I started American Dreams at HSN. I probably in my career, let's see, when I left HSN to go on to my next thing, we were probably doing about $45 million a year off of entrepreneurs' products. So if we're making 45, you know, I had a lot of them that were making close to the 7 figures. So we changed lives. I mean, that's what we did. Not everybody made it to HSN. Not everybody's going to make it through. We probably had 30 products, 30 amazing products that made it. And when I say made it, that means beyond a first airing. We would put something on, and if it sold great, it moved on. If it didn't go so well, we might try it again. But then it's all about, okay, it's maybe not for our audience, right? That doesn't mean it's no, it just isn't for our audience. But for the ones that we kept, those 30 of them generating $45 million a year, it's pretty good. So
amazing.
Yeah. So absolutely loved doing that for HSN. And then I went to go work so while I was HSN, I was on 2 television shows. So they had called me. I was a guest judge on a TV show called Don't Quit Your Day Job. And that was literally looking at people and looking at their products and telling them, don't quit your day job. And it was hard for me to be like, I'm killing your baby, but I had to be vocal.
We do that every day, and we aren't on a show.
Well, I'm sorry, Carmine. You know, I just text it to you now. I don't even bother calling you. I'm just like, are you still trying this inventors thing? Are you still doing a podcast? Oh my gosh.
So how did you end up? So I know you connected with Joy Mangano, which we had her on before, and we love her. And I had the pleasure of sitting in the audience and watching America's Big Deal. Like, being on Shark Tank and Good Morning America, I got to see that live. That was pretty fascinating. It was it's a pretty cool show. So how did that all come about?
Yeah. So while I was at HSN, really got to know Joy. I was on a TV show, Hatched, as a regular judge for 2 seasons, and she caught them, and she called me one day while I was at HSN and was just like, look, you're doing so much with entrepreneurs. What can I do to help? And I said, would love to have you be like a little mentor here and there to people. She said, no problem. That's kind of how our relationship started, because she was at HSN and I was an executive at HSN. So then when I left and moved to a private equity firm who was doing nothing but investing in small businesses, small entrepreneurs, she found me. And she called me up one day and she just said, Dara, she's, it's Joy. And you know, all I have to do is say it's Joy. And then she's like, Mangano? I'm like, yeah, I know who that is. And she just said, I would love for you to come work for a potential new show. Can't tell you anything about it. Can't tell you when it's going to be, where it's going to be, and who's going to air it, but would love for you to come work for me. And I said, sure.
Where do I sign up?
Don't give me so much information.
Yeah. With all that detail, who can turn
when
it down?
do you want me to show up?
I know. With Carmine, they're like, look, we got a small corner in a coffee shop. If you'll show up, I'll provide a microphone. You'll call it a podcast.
I gotta buy my own coffee. Damn it!
You have to buy your own. I'll bring you some.
I tell you, that show to me, like, it really just gives the inventor such an opportunity to tell their story, right? You know, with Shark Tank's a little bit different. Shark Tank, I always found, like, even for me, even Good Morning America Shark Tank and the real Shark Tank, it was like, you know, I pitched a Ford Motor Company and BMW. That was a different experience because it's, you know, you got all these sharks coming at you. They're coming at each other. And it's, you know, it's not live, right? It's taped, but they edit it. Where America's big deal was live. So, like, if you literally tripped and fell,
if you tripped and fell, the show must go on. Yeah.
So I can imagine like the intensity involved with that type of show and the feedback instantly for the inventor and entrepreneur. It was pretty cool from a live audience standpoint to watch it on TV as well. And you get very much similar vibes from being live in the studio as well as being, you know, at home watching it. But I thought it was a really cool production. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was great. I was the product producer for that show, so I found everything. Everything that you saw every Thursday night came from me. It started off as this massive funnel, and then we got down to 4 people, on occasion 5, every single week, and all brand new. I will tell you what the number one pitfall was of people, and people don't even realize it. And I did say it when we were at the pitch panel, is I told everybody they need to have insurance. And that sounds silly, right? You know, why would I need to have insurance on a tablet? Okay, well, someone might get a paper cut. I mean, you just don't know nowadays. I mean, my goodness, people are suing McDonald's because their coffee was hot. I mean, it's dumb and it got thrown out, but that didn't stop them from trying to make a big deal about it. Yeah, so, but I recommend insurance because, number one, it does cover yourself. But when you are talking to, I like to call them a big dog, right? So that was NBC. So NBCU, which owned USA Today. USA Today, that's a newspaper. This was the USA Network. Okay, sorry, mixing my drinks. Carmine, come on, help me unmix my drinks here.
I'm still trying to get the jet to you.
And you're still trying to order coffee. So with network, they're going to be really stringent. And so I had to go out, you know, obviously I did. I went out and asked and made sure everybody had insurance. And when I tell you that 8 out of 10 said to me, well, let's see, I have medical insurance, I have vision insurance. I'm like, no, for your business. And they're like, what do I need insurance for? Like, it broke my heart because, you know, if you're smaller, okay, maybe, but if you start going into your Walmart, your Target, you're going on national television, you gotta protect yourself and you gotta protect the other partner. And that's what insurance is for. And it doesn't mean that your product is going to break or do any of that stuff. Not at all. You just have to have it. It's just one of those boxes you have to tick that says, okay, I am a true entrepreneur and I'm ready to go.
Right. I mean, we talk about that a lot as well. Yeah. So again, what a great amount of information for entrepreneurs and inventors to learn from on this podcast. Dara, what are you up to now? Let's talk about, like, what are you looking for now in products and what are you up to? And then maybe where people can find you if you want that. We're happy to share that information with everybody. Yeah. Maybe that private jet will finally happen.
Okay, my cell phone number is
the world.
Okay.
Hey, I think I did another podcast with Carmine and I made a mistake. I think of either giving my cell phone or a number.
Oh, nice going, Carmine. You didn't edit it out. That's
Funny.
what you leave me for, right?
No, I added it in.
Why is my mailbox full every day? Oh my gosh. Thank you. Note to self.
Yeah.
Never go on Carmine's podcast.
I was trying to beep it out. Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, and yet
Yeah.
here I am. Oh, because I love you guys. Because I love you, Chris. No.
Well, we love you too.
so I'll tell you what I'm doing now and then how to contact me. So what I'm doing now is I'm working for and with Joy Mangano. So Joy is she is constantly looking for new brands. She is can't quite debut it, but Joy promised me, Carmine, come on your show and announce it when she's ready to do that. So definitely she's working on something else that's pretty big that
Wow.
your audience will love to hear about.
Awesome.
And I'm helping her look at products and find products that fit within certain categories of business that she has. So I'm looking everywhere, and I will tell you, I found several of them in the United Inventors and Inventors Corner there at the Inspired Home
Awesome.
Show. So
So cool.
That
for
is great.
me, it was absolutely worth the trip. It's always worth a trip because I get to see familiar faces and talk to people, but it was worth the trip because came back and Joy was absolutely thrilled with products that we found. And on the other side, there's a dear friend of mine. He lives in California. And Carmine, I know you're going to have him on your show soon. His name is Victor Green. I met him while I was a judge on Hatched. He was also a judge. He is a self-made multi-millionaire from, he's been an entrepreneur his whole life. He wrote the book, a #1 bestseller, How to Succeed in Business by Really Trying. And he gives incredible insights to entrepreneurs and kind of helps them. Well, he has a show that is going to run on YouTube. And it is a show targeting entrepreneurs that are kind of more in the Gen Z-ish bucket. They're what we're calling the newpreneurs. So the NUPRNRS, newpreneurs, because they are the next generation of entrepreneurs. And he wants to be able to help them before they get too far down the rabbit hole. So many people are opting not to go to college these years because they're saying, why go? I can be my own boss. I've created something that's really cool. So Victor wants to put them in contact with his best friends that have millions of dollars that could do an investment or could lend money or could help them, get their product off the ground. So he's just a dear, dear, dear friend of mine. And I told him I would help him out with some of the products that he was looking for too. So
that is
that's
really
what I'm
great.
doing.
It's
And
awesome.
Dara, we can help feed that funnel, right? We can help with
I
bringing
want
products and
you
inventors.
to. I
That's
want
so
you
funny.
to. That is AKA the moral to this entire podcast.
Yeah.
I got my friend Carmine and Chris are gonna feed my funnel.
Hey,
All right.
real
Perfect.
quick, Dara, first off, it must be awesome working with Joy because she seems like us, like she's like you don't know what she's gonna come up with, right? I mean, it's like she's always got something going.
Oh my gosh. I mean, when I sit on a call with her, first of all, she is Christy, Bobby, that they work with her. Granted, they are her children, but my gosh, the apple has not fallen far from that tree. They are so brilliant. And they sit in these rooms and I'm just like, are these real ideas? Because if they're not, we gotta do something. They are brilliant. They are as genuine as you see. They are kind. They are gracious. They are thinking of the entrepreneur first and foremost. They all have my heart. I love every minute I'm with them.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
Every minute.
And then also, you met Andrew Cavett at Hatch, right?
Oh yeah, I know Andy.
Yeah, Andy. It's a small world. I went to school with Andrew. I've known Andrew like my whole life.
That's crazy.
Stop it. Was that auto mechanic school or?
No, Andrew auto mechanic school. He was on on As the World Turns or something for like.
You're like auto mechanic.
I think his first car was a limousine.
my goodness.
But yeah,
It
he
is
was
funny,
on like
right? How
he
you-
was on like As the World Turns for like 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I've known Andrew and his brothers. They grew up like probably 100 yards from my house.
Wow.
Wow.
And another short story. So I was on Hatched. Andy was co-producer. Carter Ruum was a good friend and was a judge, and now he's married to Paris Hilton.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Such a small world. Such a small world. Oh, oh my God.
And it's funny because when I talk to Dara, she knows Amy Cavino, who's a news anchor in New Hampshire's ABC, WMUR. So I sent her pictures. She says, "Oh my God, I love Dara. She looks so great." I always send her
Get
notes.
around, people.
Isn't that
I
funny?
just get around.
This
It
is
is crazy.
the biggest small industry.
Isn't it though? You know,
know.
as my old boss would say, it's a small world after all.
By the way, that was my mother's favorite ride.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I
my
love
old
that.
boss.
Hey, and one last thing I'm working on. So I work with a company called Viatech, and Viatech does licensing. So I am always looking for products to license, always. And I found an incredible, do I have 2 seconds? Well,
Yeah, of
Absolutely.
course.
tell you this story. So here I am, I'm at the Inventors Association. I'm on your stage, I'm talking, and after it's over, a lot of people come over, a lot of familiar faces. So it was really great to see them. A lot of people who wanted to get my advice on something. That's where I say, please take it if I give it. And I noticed out of the corner of my eye, there's a very young woman who's standing there, and she's being very patient. And the line starts moving, and now it's kind of her turn, but there were several other people. And she comes up and she's very gracious, and she introduces herself to me. And she says, can I buy you a cup of coffee? And I just said, well, I've got, other people that are here. I don't want to like walk away and leave. That's not me. I will stay, as you know, I will stay till the lights come on at the end.
Oh
of the
yeah,
event.
no doubt.
That's me. So I said, I really want it. They've waited for me. I want to give them the time. And so I said, but if you want to talk any longer, I'm happy to talk a little bit longer, but I would just ask you to wait till the very end. So she did. She waited till the very last person. After it was over, I didn't go get coffee with her because I didn't want to leave the area per se too much, because I still wanted to walk the show. But we sat in those little cafe seats right next door, and we chatted for a little bit. And she showed me a handful of products that she has that she is looking for a licensor for, and just was like, I don't even know where to go. She lives in Canada. She came down to the show. It was her first time at the show. She says, I don't even know where to go. I don't even have my products here. But I saw, that you were going to be up here. I saw the UIA. I've heard about them. I just wanted to come. I've sat in several of their presentations, sat in yours, and I just don't even know where to start. So we had a great conversation. So ended, and she said, because the joke was at the end of my segment when I was up on stage, was like, hey, if you want to, you can buy me coffee. Well, I didn't think anybody's going to take me serious. So when I finished with her, she goes, could I buy you coffee tomorrow? And I'm like, I tell you what, if you're here tomorrow and I'm here at the same time, I have a different schedule that I'm here. I said, you can absolutely treat me to a cup of coffee. Next day, she comes in. She is sitting in your front row, like the whole time. I see her with notes. I see her soaking up. And this is what you want, right? You want people soaking it up. Right. I then come up. I think that was the blanket issue, or maybe that was talking about, that was where it was a pitch panel and the blanket and stuff. Finish, get down, and several people are coming over, and she's like, hey, can I buy you, a cup of coffee? And I said, well, I need a minute, because one of the products, I need to beeline it over there to them, because anyway, she waited for 1 hour for me. 1 hour, as I went to 2 different places in there, got stopped by a number of people. Just as she and I were walking off, a gentleman tapped me on the shoulder, asked if he could grab me for just a minute. No. 15 minutes later, and I was trying so hard to end the conversation, and he wasn't ending it. Don't do that also. She waited again for me. So an hour 15 was what she waited. So I said, you can get me coffee. Let's get coffee.
Wow.
So I sat there and talked with her, and because she waited, and because she was, I saw her being a sponge to everything that was there. And those are the type of entrepreneurs that we love, are the ones that really want to learn from what you guys are trying to really help teach them and bring them. I said, would you like to go to dinner tonight?
Wow.
And I thought she was going to have a heart attack. And I said, never in my 30 years have I taken someone that I just met to dinner in my life.
Wow.
And she was like, absolutely. She came, met me at dinner. We probably sat there for 3 hours. And now my goal and my mission, I'm going to get her a huge licensing deal. I'm going to take one of her products that I know is going to fly off the shelf, and it's going to be on HSN. And this woman's going to be in my life forever.
Wow.
And
Carmine, look at that story, man.
It's
Wow.
unbelievable.
It's taking the initiative, not being aggressive, having patience, and that patience can come as quickly as it did in an hour and 15 minutes, or it can be patience that is 3 months, 6 months. It's that I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep moving. I'm gonna soak everything up. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna pivot where I need to, because these people are smart in it. I'm learning. So those are the entrepreneurs. I will bend over backwards all day long. And look, I don't get paid for sitting there and talking to her for over an hour, inviting her to go to dinner. She's already sent me products. I have already given her feedback on some of the products that she's tweaking. I said, we got to tweak it before I bring it to XYZ. I want to do that because this woman was ready to have feedback. And her name is Rose. And hi, Rose, if you're listening. I just wanted to tell you guys that story.
Wow, that's awesome.
This is, to me, this is what it's all about, man. This is, for you to do that and to recognize somebody who's willing to give that for you. I mean, that is unbelievable. I feel like I did a little bit of that with Good Morning America when I first met one of the producers. I just stayed friendly with them, and obviously with Amy Cavino. Then they called me, and before you know, I became friends. They brought me on stage.
Yeah.
I got a chance to do a live proposal to my wife now, Brandy. Like all these things led up to something like you're doing now, and I tell you, it is
on national television,
on national TV. It was crazy. And I look at, like, with someone like this, it means something, because even in corporate America, you always find that one individual who really wants to succeed. And of course, you gravitate towards that person. You want to help them. You feel like you want to help. You want to give them the best opportunity because they're making, that push to do it. What a great story, Dara. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That is amazing.
I thought you were going to say that it was Paris Hilton.
Oh, yeah. But she probably can hook us up with Paris Hilton for some event.
We would have went to dinner too.
I cannot confirm nor deny if we've spoken, but that's beside the point.
Dara, thank you so much for tonight. I mean, again, every time I talk to you, I learn more, and your feedback to this inventor community is amazing, and your background. I mean, enough said. Your background is elite level, and you're just a great person to top it off. Yeah.
Well, and to answer your last question, if anybody wants to get in contact with me, no, I'm not going to give my cell phone. But
Carmine's going to do that.
I'm ready. I'm ready to beep it out.
You're ready. So my email is my first name, DARA T as in Tom, RUJILLO @iCloud.com. And here's what I would ask that you do. In the subject line, just put UIA or Launchpad podcast, something that I can identify you as listening to this show. That way I will really want to make sure I can funnel those requests to the top of my inbox and get back to you quicker.
You heard it first here.
Yeah.
Put that UIA in that subject line. That'll get you to the top of her email chain.
Sort by subject. That's what I do. That's what I do.
All right.
Love it.
Well, this has been a great podcast, Dara.
Yeah.
Thank you again. I really, really appreciate it. You are the best.
Great show.
No problem
great show.
at all.
Awesome.
You
As
know,
usual.
I love you guys. Whatever you guys
I
need
love
me
you
to do.
too.
So
Thank
cool.
you.
So cool. Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening in. Dara was awesome. She packed the house at the Houseware Show, wherever she goes, giving advice, checking out products. Always a lot of people there. That's what I love about it. UIA, go ahead and join if you're not a member, UIAUSA.org. And we will catch you next time on the Shark Tank Effect. You all take care.